Right, so today we have had the infamous Samuel Leeds, the property millionaire, in the studio, and we have been talking some amazing subjects, to name a few. We've got breaking into the property business. He's talked about buying hotels, this was
incredible. Like, I actually sat here and learned so much off the guy. It was fantastic. And his levels of pettiness, I love it. It was fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. I think part of it was buying a billboard opposite a rival's house. So, honestly, everything from kind of the high energy, dealing with haters, there's a lot of subjects that I absolutely loved here. So, we hope you enjoy it, guys. Hello guys, welcome to the Ash Brothers podcast, and a good friend of mine, someone who really has been heavily on the radar in the property industry. So if you don't know him and you're in property, then you must have had your head buried in the ground. Samuel Leeds, property millionaire. Welcome Sam.
Mate.
Thank you so much, guys. Good to be here.
Brilliant. So to be honest, I think the first thing is, you know, you've built a big and successful business or businesses, but certainly the one that's certainly on my radar is the way you're training people into effectively making money in property in a multitude of different ways. So for those that don't know about that, do you mind just giving us a bit of background on that?
Yeah, so when I became a property millionaire and then started being successful, I started doing something called deal selling. So I'd basically find deals, a little bit like what you do actually in real estate, but the other end. So I'd find deals on the market or off market, but I'd package them and then I'd pass them on to investors and charge like a finder's fee. And to do that, I had to market myself. So I started putting videos on YouTube. I'd be like, hey, my name's Samuel Leeds. I'm a property investor. I'm packaging deals up. This is what I do. And every time I'd package a deal up and sell it to an investor, I'd like document it, stick it on YouTube.
Nice.
And then people started getting a few negative comments. You know, people would be like, oh, you know, you're only a millionaire because I bet your parents gave you a load of money.
The
Classic.
Yeah.
Or you got started in 2008. It was the perfect time then. I'm thinking, what? That was like just before one of the biggest recessions. Right? So, you got in at the right time. You're lucky. This. So I just thought, you know what? As a little bit of a social experiment for fun, and this is like maybe about 4 years ago now, I did a social experiment called a Financial Freedom Challenge.
All right, nice.
In 2018. I basically got a videographer, had a referee with me, and said, I'm going to start again from scratch in real estate with no money, with no contacts, I'm going to close my access to my bank off. I'm going to go in disguise, take an alias name, watch me build it again from scratch. and I had a videographer with me and a referee to make sure I didn't cheat. And during that week, you know, I got chucked out of some networking events. There was a guy called Rob Moore. Screw that guy. Rob Moore. Screw that guy.
What's this beef with Rob Moore?
Just, you know what? I went to this property networking event and I had a disguise on, but the guy who was running the event recognized me, and because he saw me as a competitor, he was like, "Are you Samuel Leeds?" And I was like, I am.
With the moustache off.
I was like, I am.
Moustache
No,
and
I did, man.
glasses.
I did. I was in disguise, like glasses, a wig, everything. He said, "Are you Samuel Leeds?" I said, "I am Samuel Leeds. I'm doing this thing. I'm doing it." And then he chucked me out of the event.
No way.
Yeah, he chucked me out. Screw that guy. Right.
So
that was progressive property. But anyway, my point is, I've managed to become financially independent again from scratch. Documented, put that on YouTube. That blew up.
Yeah.
That got like 1.6 million views real quick.
Nice.
And then everyone started saying to me, can you help me do the same? And that's when I set the training company. Certainly when I went hard on the training business.
Yes.
About 2018. That was when I blew up.
That was when it hit.
Yeah.
That was when it hit. I mean, to be honest, I've seen, you know, because obviously we follow each other on social media. I think you're one of the few people in the industry who's also been kind of verified on multiple social media platforms.
Yeah, I'm all over the press.
And that's great. You know, for me, one thing that sticks out is some of the success stories. So I've seen you've taken people with effectively no money and you've taught them the process on how to make money in property and then got them fully into property development, haven't you?
Yeah.
So why do you do that?
Well, I do it because, for a start, when I started out in business, when I was like 16, 17, I'm very grateful that there was a few people that believed in me, took me under their wing. One of my mentors, Tony, I was a teenager, met him at Business Network International. people treated me seriously. At school, I thought I was stupid. I failed in school. And I want to be able to be that person. You know, I want to be able to be that person that actually believes in people that maybe haven't got business degrees, loads of money behind them.
You can come out of school feeling almost like fucking hell. I'm
Can be lost,
miles
can't it?
behind, I'm
Lost.
lost. What's wrong with me, sort of thing.
Well, in school, they teach you how to be academic.
Well, they
How
teach
to
you
be
how
an
to be. They teach you how to be a worker.
An order taker, I like to call it. Yeah.
They don't teach. It's a bit of the rich dad, poor dad story, isn't it? It's that they don't teach you how to build a business. They teach you how to work in one.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's what they teach you at school.
Yeah.
They teach you skills. It's like, you know, a college professor has knowledge on a subject, but they get paid for delivering the knowledge. They don't actually get paid for delivering the result of that knowledge, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when you're at school, though, like if you're an entrepreneur, the way you think as an entrepreneur, if you're a natural entrepreneur, is a little bit outside the box.
yeah,
You know, you often got short attention spans. I got ADHD.
yeah.
So you could be a massively successful potential entrepreneur, but you will do bad in school.
Yeah, you come out failing.
Feeling like, oh man, I'm rubbish.
Yeah,
I wanted to be a bin man. When I was at school, I genuinely thought, I'll be a bin man.
It still might happen. You don't
Maybe. Maybe.
Chase your dreams,
Yeah,
man.
if Rob Moore manages to crush me.
So let's elaborate on this. So
Yeah.
who's this Rob Moore guy?
Rob Moore is a nobody.
Okay.
He's a has-been. He's a has-been property
Don't
guy.
hold back, will you?
No, he's a nobody. He's a has-been property guy.
There he is.
Let's have a look.
Oh, is this him? He's got a squeaky voice.
Okay.
He's, he's
get
in
his
property.
voice?
Yeah, he's built up a big portfolio in property, you know, like me. But here's the thing, right?
Okay.
When I came on the scene, I was like, oh, Rob Moore, cool. This guy, he's in property.
Yeah.
But like, he would like throw a bit of shade at me,
Oh.
right? And when I started blowing up, he did a video. I'd never met the guy, and he basically did a video where he said he could beat me up.
Oh.
And this is like 3 years ago now. So,
Okay.
so I decided he's from Peterborough, and he's got his whole events business. His properties are all in Peterborough. So I decided to go to Peterborough and put on an event. So I hired one of the biggest, grandest auditoriums, and I sold it out. And I put like a billboard just outside Rob's house of me. So every time he'd leave his little shitty house, he'd see me.
The level of petty.
Yeah, level of pay. And since then, there's been a bit of beef. I mean, listen, it's kind of bants, you know. I'm not saying he's a terrible person, but since then, I went to his office recently, and we had a bit of a debate.
Oh, I remember. I think I watched a video of you
Yeah.
like walking into the office, right?
Yeah.
And then it all went. But then the video stopped. If I remember right, I watched it. And it
Yeah,
stopped.
yeah. But what happened after that was, I said to him, I was like, "Hey, look, man, what's going on?" And we spoke, and I said, "What's this? You saying you could beat me up and all that?" And he goes, "I could."
Oh God.
I was like, "Okay." I said, "You put money on that?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he challenged me, £50,000 bet.
What?
That he beat me up. True story, right? This dude's like literally in his 40s. I almost felt sorry for him. I was like, is he that desperate to be involved with me somehow?
Yeah.
You know, is he getting a bit irrelevant or something? Like, what's happening to the
Yeah.
guy? I felt a bit sorry for him.
It's like the property version of like Jake
I was about
Paul
to
and
say
Tommy
that,
Fury.
Yeah, 100%. So I was like, cool. But then he went into the video and said, oh, everyone, Samuel's challenged me to do a fight. So I was just like, all right, whatever. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, but yeah, Rob Moore, progressive property, interesting people.
I mean, we could help set it up.
Yeah, I'll be up for that.
I'd be up for that.
In what way? What capacity?
Well, I mean, we could sponsor the event, sell tickets, make a Tyron and Reis real estate ring.
Yeah,
I
man.
could be the announcer.
Oh yeah, I could do like the Joe Rogan on the side.
He seems.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
And they're literally like nothing's happening.
The only reason that I would do it would be because I think it would be a good incentive for me to get fit.
Yes.
You know, it's a good incentive,
It is,
and
yeah.
getting to smack his face at the same time without getting prosecuted
And get
Perfect.
paid for it.
Disclaimers
Yeah,
signed.
exactly.
Yeah, disclaimers signed. Yeah.
And if he gives me 50 grand, I can buy a whole bunch of billboards in his neighbourhood again.
There should be a billboard clause as
That's
well.
what I will do. That's what I'll do with the 50 grand. I'll buy loads of billboards in Peterborough
Yeah.
all around his house and just cover my face.
Fair. So, what's the next stage of this controversy with
Rob?
Rob Moore? Is there going to be a fight? Is there
I
going
don't
to be?
probably, yeah.
Wow. Is
Yeah,
it going to be
probably.
an arranged one, or is it going to be a backstreet one?
I think no, it'd be arranged.
Wow, that's actually
Now, what do you think? I'm just gonna turn up at his house.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know
Knuckle
what's
gang
going
shit.
By the time this
I'm
comes
used to
out,
gang shit.
by the time this interview comes out, maybe it'll be official because, you know, we are in conversations.
Are you
Oh,
actually?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh right.
His lawyer is in conversations with my lawyer right
oh
now.
my god.
Can we get our lawyer involved with these conversations?
I think it will happen unless he chickens out. I think it will happen.
Okay.
That'd be fun too.
He's 6'3". He's a lot taller than me.
Is he? He'll have the reach. Is he quick? Does he move?
I don't know.
Does he move? Who's training him?
Who's
No
training
idea.
him?
No
Floyd
idea.
Mayweather Senior.
He knows Floyd Mayweather.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's the thing. If he picks up a few tips on his guard,
Yeah.
because he's unhittable. That's the thing.
Nah, he'll be fine.
Boxes with the high shoulder, tucks his chin in.
I'm not a good boxer or anything, but I just know that he will be.
The problem is with boxing, though, is like, you know that there's so many rules. So what you might find is if someone starts boxing and they're a good boxer, you can't just go and like grab them and throw them to the floor.
Yeah, you have to
the ref
control
will
it.
stop it.
Yeah.
You should maybe you take it into the cage.
I'm down for anything.
Right. So.
I mean, I'm sorry, my brain's there, you know.
You're just thinking about this fight, aren't you?
Yeah,
You want to sponsor
I
it.
feel like, you know, when you're at school and a fight's about to go down and everyone's like, fight, and it's at lunchtime and then the two kids turn up. Obviously, this is two men, grown men. Funny how things don't change.
No.
Everyone's messaging me saying like, "Oh, that's so immature. Don't do it." I'm thinking I'm only 31.
Yeah. I've got loads of immature years ahead of me.
Yeah.
And
At least 20.
And there's nothing wrong with doing a white collar. Like what?
No.
What's immature
No,
about a white collar
exactly, yeah.
professional
I
boxing
think it'd
match
be great. I think
with
it'd
a
be great.
competitor?
Oh,
Perfect.
Absolutely.
But
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's really got me thinking. I mean, what a cool thing to do. I don't think it's ever been done in property either, so why not? So, I remember when I was when you were sort of coming onto the radar with, you know, with me being in property, and we did a podcast as well. That was really cool. I remember kind of doing my research on you, and then you'd like hear, or I'd read, because obviously there's a lot of success stories I've read, and then you get the people who have basically gone out their way to try and, I would say, defame or damage your reputation. I remember reading someone saying he's a charlatan, or you know, it's stupid stuff, which I certainly don't believe. But you know, what were your how did you deal with these people?
Sued them.
Okay. How serious are you about with people who defame you, your character, your business?
I'm deadly serious, yeah.
Have you sued people before?
Yep. Prosecuted them through the courts, got people criminal records for malicious communications.
Good.
Sued people for defamation. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good. I mean, I'm all for that. I think, you know, we've had a few people who've gone out of the, you know, of our business, and you know, instead of just quietly getting on with their business, they feel like they can't take my name out their mouth, and it's like, just fucking get on with your life. Do you see me talking about you? No.
The problem is it's so expensive to sue people. I mean, defamation is high court stuff. Yeah. So the average person, if you're just a normal everyday person, you've got a small plumbing and heating business, you know, you might make $3 or $4 grand a month.
Yeah.
And then you've got, if a group of people or even just one person decides, I'm going to defame them, leave loads of bad fake reviews, or a competitor,
they can't deal with it,
you can't, because it's so expensive and it's so time consuming. And also a lot of people just don't want the negative energy.
No, 100%.
So I kind of feel like, you know what, once I have successfully sued everybody and won, because there's still a lot of cases pending.
Wow, okay.
I'm then going to set up, I don't know whether it's going to be a charity or some training or some support to people that are trolled maliciously online, because it's so easy just to troll someone just because you don't like them.
There's no consequence to
But
it.
a lot of people think there isn't a consequence. You always think someone's trolling me and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
And that was a lot.
It's horrible though.
Yeah.
It's really horrible.
But I think that's the thing, because I had a couple of instances recently, and obviously I just engaged my lawyers. Like I've literally got fucking Harvey Specter, literally Harvey Specter. This guy is who's my lawyer, and he goes for blood, and damn right. I mean, I spent years trying to find this guy. And, you know, our, you know, whether it's litigation, whether it's, you know, pursuing defamatory cases, whatever it is, we're ready, locked and loaded.
One of the big problems for me is, and one of the big lessons that I learned was that it was around 2019. So when I kind of blew up in 2018, 2019, I was very well known, and I was getting thousands and thousands of people coming to my events and everything like that on the scene. Bought a castle.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I'm saying? You came down, and there was like a small percentage of people that would be like trolling me. And at the time, everyone advised me, and I just thought, I'm just going to ignore it, because at the end of the day, if one person out of 100 is being horrible about me, I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm not going to give it oxygen. But what I realised is, when you ignore it, it just continues and continues and continues.
It allows more people, someone that might be thinking, and then you get away with it, will start piping up again. And
you get the second person who tries to cause a bit of trouble and finds that other person, and
Yeah.
before you know it, that's what
we had that. We had like a little WhatsApp group that had been set up, little Facebook group where they're all plotting publicly. You can see it, and it's like, he's gonna be at this venue. Let's contact the venue and try and get it cancelled. Let's do this. Honestly. He's bought this house. Let's write to the agents. Let's try and he's trying to get planning permission on this piece of land. Let's all write to the council. And I'm like, I'm not having this.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And it just, the more I ignored it, the more it
was growing.
Continued.
For no
and it's
reason.
almost like, another thing is this. There was also like lies spread about me, and some of the lies, made it into like articles and newspapers. Nothing like absolutely defamatory, but like a lot of innuendos and insinuation. You know what I mean? Half truths.
It's not on.
Innuendos. And I remember thinking, you know what? If I don't put the facts on the table, then people will make stuff up.
Of course it is.
And I'm not going to be a punching bag. So that was when I started taking legal action, and also publicly responding, because I had a lot of people as well, like even influencers, and like there was a website called Property Tribes where they would constantly write about me, like literally dozens and dozens of articles with my name in the headline, and whenever they put my name in the headline, they'd get the most views because everyone was like, "Oh, Samuel Leeds," and it would be like a shocking headline. Like something
Clickbait,
like,
isn't it?
Yeah, like Samuel Leeds exposed or something. And then people would be like, oh, what's this? They'd search on Google, they'd click on it. So it's getting loads of views, but then they were then monetizing off the back of it.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm like, this is crazy. This is nuts. Madness.
That's crazy. I mean, the thing is, what I've got to admire though is, you know your stuff, and I think I've spoke to multiple people who've kind of been through the different courses that you provide, and I've even put people onto you actually that have wished to undertake those courses, and for anyone who is looking to get into sort of property development or just want to earn money, because our end of the property business is actually teaching you to be a luxury real estate agent. So you list, you sell, a bit like if you like $1 Million Listing or Selling Sunset, that type of thing. With Samuel, he's talking about kind of development strategies. He's talking about rent to rent. He's talking about deal packaging. There's lots of different avenues that you can take people down. Yeah. So if that's something that people are interested, seriously get in touch with him. So with regards to now, obviously I know all I've ever had sort of influxed at me from your point of view is your businesses, is what you're doing, what I've just sort of said then. What about you? Like, where are you from and how have you arrived to where you are today?
So I'm from the Midlands. Yeah. I grew up in a place called Walsall.
Yeah. I
lived in Wolverhampton as a child, moved down the road to Walsall. And when I got into property, I mean, I was a teenager. I started buying houses.
How did you get into it? How did you get into your first property then?
So when I left school, I was doing plastering, and I was like plastering people's houses and stuff. And the builder that I was working for, called Mark, was saying to me, "Oh, these guys are making a fortune. This guy's..." And I was actually plastering HMOs. So basically, and Mark was telling me, he only bought this for 100 grand. And once we've finished it, it'll be worth 200 grand. And it's only 40 grand we're getting paid. And then look, he's going to rent this room out for 500, this room out for 500.
He knew the business model.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And I was like, yeah, exactly. And I went down to a PIN meeting, which is Property Investors Network. Yeah. Met a guy called Simon Zushi, who's another property kind of guy. And again, I was like a teenager, man. And
did you have any money? No.
I mean, paper and money.
Yeah, money.
A few thousand from hustling as a kid. But I didn't have nothing. I didn't have enough for a deposit on a house. And this guy called Simon, to be fair on him, like he spent 45 minutes with me on the phone, one-on-one. He's a millionaire, and I just thought, you know what? I want to get into this business, and people treat me seriously, and that's when I started going on courses myself, like property courses. Yeah. I think if you want to be anything professional, if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to uni or
it's self-development, isn't it? Because you don't know what it is. You've got to educate yourself.
You have to. Yeah. If you want to be an electrician, you got to go to college to learn electrics. And I think it's the same. If you want to be in property, I think you've got to get trained. You've got to go through some sort of training. Otherwise, it could take you 20, 30 years to figure out what you're doing.
So
I went on some training courses and just sort of followed it step by step. And these courses at the time, my friends were telling me that's a scam. That's they're the same thing that the haters say about me. They were saying about them, And I was just like, okay, well, hang on a minute. You're going to university for 5 years to study drama, right? and you're concerned because I'm spending 6,000 getting mentored by a property millionaire to learn about property. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you know, I just followed the steps, and I was all these courses like how to buy houses with no money, and it sounds clickbait. It sounds like really, but actually, you know, if you want to buy houses, yes, there's money that's needed, but there's also lots of other things. There's finding the deal. Yeah, there's managing the process and getting the build of the team. There's loads of just stuff to it. So if you say I ain't got the money, but I can do everything else, I can find the deal, negotiate the deal, I can get the builders, I can get the team. Then you can partner with someone that can put the money in.
Well, that's valuable, isn't it? It's like with anything. It's a bit like having a business concept, but getting an investor. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're packaging the concept,
and
then somebody is doing the due diligence, having a look at it, and saying that stacks up. Happy to give you 10 grand or 5 grand or 15 grand or whatever the hell that you take from it. I think that is, you know, that applies in any area of business for me. I think that if you develop yourself to a point of, I always use the words mastery. I think that if you're trying to become a master at something, you've got to be an expert at it. And then I also find that with regards to that spectrum, what you've got what I believe are the academics, right? So they'll go on. My criticism with people in these types of things is there's been a culture now where a lot of people are jumping on courses because it's the right thing to do. And then you get this portion of people, and I think it's actually probably the majority, not the minority, that go on multitudes of courses and then they don't implement it because they're afraid of the hard work.
I don't let them do that though when they're on my courses.
How do you stop that then? Because
I force them to take action.
How do you force them?
Okay, so let's say
you go to their house in the morning.
No.
Put a billboard outside the front of their house.
Well, I'll tell you a true story, right? There's this guy called Ben. He registered for our mentorship program, 12 months.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I do this every time, but I tell him with Ben. So the first mastermind session that we had was on Zoom. He didn't turn up.
That's annoying.
So I'm like, he's just invested 12,000 for a 12-month mentorship one-on-one. He didn't turn up.
Fuck's sake.
Right. I'm thinking, I'm not having him investing that much money and disappearing off the face of the earth, and then going, oh, it didn't work. He missed the so I started calling him, didn't answer. Dropped him a message on Instagram. He saw the message, didn't respond. Right? What's going on? I said, man, I'm sure you're busy. Let me see you next Monday on the mastermind. He's like, he didn't respond. Next Monday, he's not on the mastermind. So I drove to his house. He lived in Birmingham. I drove an hour and a half to his house. I got to his house, knock on his door, and true story, he didn't answer the door. So I broke into his house. I broke into his house. Right? And when I got in, I didn't snoop around. I got in, I was like...
got into his bed.
Got into his house, and I was like, Ben! Right, called him, Ben! No response, nothing. I take a picture of myself in his house. Bang. I put the picture on Instagram to him directly. He sees it. He calls me instantly. He's like, what are you doing? I says, I'm in your house. He said, I moved house 2 weeks ago. I was like, whose house am I in then? He goes, I don't know. I'm like, shit. So I quickly got out of his house, right? However, do you think he was on the mastermind that Monday? Yes, he was there.
Okay.
Right? 3 months later, he's left his job. He's got a bunch of deals. That's called accountability.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about gym. When you sign up for a gym membership, they don't want you to go to the gym. They want you to pay and not go because it's better for business. When you sign up for a private school, if you sign up to go, if I send my kids to private school, right, and I'll pay for the year for them to go to private school, if they don't go, they're getting hounded. A lot of business mentorships, they will take your money, but they don't actually care then what happens. So they take your money. Oh, you didn't turn up? Good. Less work for us. Me, I'm not like that. You pay, I'm after you. I'm gunning for you. Now, I can't guarantee you'll be successful, but I'll damn give my life to make sure that you are, and I'll try my hardest. And that's, I think, why my students, and when I'm running a training program, even if there's a few hundred people, I'll be like, here's how you make a phone call. This is what you say to an agent. Everyone get your phones out. I'm going to give you 20 minutes, go and make a call, go. And they will do it. And if I see someone not doing it, I'll go up to them and be like, what's happening? You okay? I'm nervous. I don't know what to say. No problem. Sit down with them, get them down with a mentor, go over the script, then make the call. It's about action. And there's too much theory going on.
Well, that's exactly it.
And you can't get that. People say, oh, you can just learn about property at home on YouTube. No, you can't.
No, you can't.
You can't. Someone came to me the other day and was like, I don't really think I need to go on courses because I think I can just figure it out on my own on YouTube and on Google. I said, how do you work out the commercial valuation of a HMO? And he goes on Google. After about 10 minutes, he's like, oh, I don't know. It's confusing. Right. I told him the answer in about 30 seconds. Bang, this is the formula. And the accountability, the environment, I think it's important. So I can't remember what your question was, but that's why.
I think it definitely answered the fact that, I think with anything, it's not just your business. I think certainly we get it in the real estate industry, is that you get the people who will put 110% in, and that will be in their daily actions. That will be in what they do in their organisation of themselves, their time blocking, their prospecting, all these different things they must do. Then you get the other people who are on every single training course. They tell you everything you want to hear, but you can't babysit people.
They don't go and implement it. They don't go and
implement it. And
yeah, but they weren't going very well on
But you learn so much more from going out and doing.
Yeah, of course. You have to do it.
Because you can read everything, and until you actually go out and do and get a door slammed in your face or the phone hung up on you, then you feel that fight or flight mode really is right. Am I going to push through and go to the next level?
Character building as well. I mean, look, nothing ever gets achieved in the comfort zone. That's the reality. We were just saying on another podcast, there's a reason we get up at 6 a.m. We're in the gym every morning. We don't want to do it. It's because I'm dragging my ass out for that first minute or two, just getting myself ready, getting myself, ready for the gym, bag in order, ready. And 5 minutes later, I'm fine. And I'm like, now let's do it. And that is because I've gone over that tiny little hurdle of comfort zone to make sure that I'm out the comfort zone and I'm doing something that I don't want to do. And of course, mentally, that sets me up for success.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need to understand, whether they're selling real estate, whether they're deal packaging, whether they're doing anything involved in the industry. If you don't want to put yourself out your comfort zone and fucking work, then you are going to fail. And that means making the phone calls. That means turning up at the properties. That means getting rejections. That means making 50 phone calls with nothing just to get the 51st that gets you the door open.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what people need to do. And that's the thing that I think work rate isn't taught on YouTube. Work rate isn't taught in any course. I think you can make people accountable, but again, you can't turn up in everyone's house like that, And that's
but believe me, bro. When I'm running the program, even if there's 300 people there, they're all picking up the phone.
That's good. No, that's
they're
good.
all making calls. They have no choice.
No, I get it.
They have to. And you know what? As well, it's easy to do it when everyone's doing it. If you're at home on your own in your kitchen and you think, I want to start calling agents and landlords and investors and pitching for deals, and you're at home on your own, it's like, let me do that tomorrow.
Find other stuff to do, yeah.
But when you're in a room and everyone else is doing it, environment is stronger than willpower. If you want to get results, you need to get around people that are doing the activity that you need to do to get results.
100%. That's exactly what we do. We make sure that everybody's working within a team that is all doing the same actions and working towards the same goals, and that is how the accountability spreads. Otherwise, you'll just get one star performer and 30 people that don't do anything.
And also, everyone needs to be treated differently in terms of, like, for some people, there was this one guy called Ricky, and Ricky was one of my students. About 4 months in, he was coming on everything. He just wasn't doing anything. He wasn't getting results. And I said to him, and people will judge me for this, but I said to him, if you don't have a deal by the end of this month, I'm going to give you a contract and I want you to sign it right now. And I am legally going to come around your house and I'm going to punch you in the face. And I want you to sign the contract to say that you will waive your rights. You don't have a deal. I'm coming to your house, bro. I'm mashing you up good, okay? You sign that contract. He signed the contract. He got a deal the day before the end of the month, right?
Oh, God.
Some people need that.
Yeah.
Some people need an arm around them, and they need to, come on, you're doing okay, and they need love. And everybody needs to be coached different. And I think for me, one of my gifts is understanding where people are at and helping them go from where they are to where they want to be.
Yeah, recognising what whoever you're dealing with.
If I said that to some people, it would crush them.
Yeah.
Of course it would.
Yeah. If you misjudge it,
they'll fold.
Whereas if you pat someone on the back and tell them they're doing great when they're not, some people will just, it's just really, it's not just about being a trainer. It's not just about knowing the stuff in your head. It's about knowing it, being able to articulate it, and being able to hold people's hand and actually drag them over the finish line and having the gifting to be able to do that.
Totally agree. I couldn't agree more. And I think that, these are things that only get gained with experience, and they get gained with, going through the battlefield and learning how you do it yourself, and then actually being able to advise people, because modeling someone's success in any industry is the quickest way to learn it. It's like, at the end of the day, there's no point, like you said, someone going onto YouTube, spending weeks trying to find out the commercial return on a HMO deal or whatever it might be, when in reality, you've got the formula that they can learn in 0.5 or 2
You've
minutes.
got the
or whatever,
recipe. You've done it. You've baked
Yeah,
the cake.
yeah, exactly.
This,
So
follow
just
my recipe.
follow the
You'll have
recipe.
perfect cake.
Yeah, why reinvent the wheel, man?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I know you probably deal with a lot of estate agents, real estate agents.
Oh, every day.
So what are your I guess peeves? What are the things you don't like about them?
About estate agents. Well, firstly, I want to say, generally, I love estate agents. If it wasn't for estate agents, I get most of my deals from agents.
Brilliant.
So I really like agents.
Good.
Pet peeves about agents, there's many. I tell you an interesting story actually about that. I didn't know. As a landlord, I have a lot of houses and I have a lot of tenants.
Mm-hmm.
My sister wanted to come and move I'm from Wolverhampton, Walsall. I moved to Buckinghamshire, Beaconsfield. She wanted to move. And I said to her, I'll find you a house. She came and I was trying to find her a house. And the letting agents was so prejudiced, man.
Prejudice?
Dude,
What?
her husband left her, right, a couple of weeks prior to this. So her husband's gone.
Yeah.
Said, I'm going for good. So I felt like, oh my gosh, I need to
You're
look
gonna
after
help
her.
yeah.
Right? But there was one agent that specifically said, we don't rent to single moms. I'm thinking, what?
What?
Mate, true story. We don't rent to single moms. I'm thinking it's not her fault that her husband left her 2 weeks ago.
I know she only missed the cut by 2 weeks. That's
Yeah,
nuts.
exactly.
That's
You know?
nuts.
So I think that's
What were
obviously.
did they tell the reasons?
Yeah, they did. I pushed on it. I was like, what do you mean you don't rent to single moms?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, it's because if the kids are sick and then the mum has to stay at home and then she can't work, it's just we've had bad experiences.
Wow.
This is like a proper letting
Unbelievable,
agent.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
Is that even allowed?
That is nuts. Christ.
Is that allowed?
Well, not to my knowledge, no.
Must be like
not to my
an off-record.
You know what I did? True story.
Oh, God.
The agent that said we don't rent to single mamas, my sister loved the house.
Yeah.
So I wrote to the landlord direct and I said to him, would you consider selling the house? He said, at the right price. I said, well, how much do you want? He told me. I just bought the house.
Nice.
So I
nice.
bought the house.
That's great.
We're exchanging contracts tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So my sister's going to have a house. But I just thought it's easier to buy a house than even to rent one. So my pet peeves with agents and letting agents, I
Yeah.
guess letting agents, how freaking hard it is. She was ringing up and they were saying,
I'm trying to rent this house. Yeah.
they were saying, before we even book a viewing, you need to fill out all this paperwork.
Fucking hell.
It's hardcore. Estate agents. I used to be an estate agent, so I can't say too much bad about
No,
estate
yeah.
agents.
I think there's different.
Not listening. That's the worst thing. I wasn't listening to you just then, was I? Ironically.
yeah.
Not listening. Estate agents, they don't listen. So you ring them up and they're just like, rather than actually listening to what you're trying to say, they're just desperate to get your contact details.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
be able to
yeah.
say to their boss, I got an extra contact.
Yeah.
They're not listening.
No, I get it.
That's probably the most annoying thing about estate agents.
I think definitely with any sort of certainly within real estate agency, there are different levels of quality that you'll experience with different agents. And I think, I've met many in my time and people I've worked with, and you'll get some that really go through the quality control process. So the first thing is you've got to get the information, but you've got to also understand why that person's maybe selling or why that person's buying, and then you've got to match according to those practical reasons that they're buying or selling, and then the emotional reasons that they're buying
Ask
and
the right
selling.
questions as well.
And that means asking the right questions,
Not having commission breath, like you
information
say,
gathering.
trying to
yeah.
get boxes ticked, trying to get contacts. It's about understanding each client, what their needs are, and then at the end you've delivered a good service. They're probably they're wanting to give you all the exchange of details and stuff. But if you're going with the commission breath, it's not.
Yeah,
personal.
it's about value at the end of
Yeah.
the day, and I think that when you're incorporating and when you're engaging with these agents, I think it's important for these agents to gather as much information, and then they can actually do a better service for you and deliver what they're supposed to deliver. So, what do you think is the next level for you with property business, and are you buying anything else at the moment?
I'm buying stuff constantly. Yeah. I just actually signed contracts, heads of terms for a hotel
Oh, nice.
last week, which
Wow.
is exciting.
That
In
is
fact, the
exciting.
way it's structured is, how much do you reckon I'm buying it for? What do you reckon? It's 30 units.
30,
And it's
30
just,
keys?
or
30 like
no,
in-
30 like rooms.
Rooms,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's
30
I can't say exactly where it is because I don't want him to find it. But I
Okay.
live in Buckinghamshire, Beaconsfield. It's within about an hour from my house.
Okay.
I reckon 8 to 10 million.
I reckon 5.
I'm paying £1.
Ah. That's cheap. How are you getting that then?
£1. So I'm paying £1.
Whose phone's going off? Sorry.
It's not me.
Must be the owner of the hotel wanting a bit more money now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it was irritating me. Sorry, carry
That's
on.
all right.
So how much are you paying? £1?
Paying £1.
Yeah.
I'm taking on the whole hotel.
You getting a bridge for that, or?
Nope. I don't need a bridge. It's only £1. I can afford that.
In
I don't need a bridge for £1. They'll give me 60p.
40p down payment.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Damn
true story,
it.
man. I'm paying £1, and then I'm taking it on under a purchase.
It must
option
come with
agreement.
some problems though. Has it got a troll living in it?
No.
Is it haunted?
Is it what?
Haunted.
Maybe. No, it's not haunted.
Does that Rob guy live in it?
Oh yeah, it's Rob.
Rob, yeah, Rob lives in it. Paying £1, then I'm taking it on a purchase option agreement. So what that means that I'll have the option to buy it, as in the pound doesn't actually give me full ownership, right? So that's the catch. The pound gives me an option to buy any time I want for £2 million in the next 10 years.
That's good.
But here's the thing: I've got to pay £1. Then I'm paying 100 grand a year
Okay.
for the lease. But it's 30 units. I'll make about £250,000 a year.
Wow.
Are you taking full ownership of the running of the hotel
Yes.
for that 100 grand a year? Is that
Yes.
right? Right.
Well, that's
gotcha.
insane.
But then the profit from the hotel,
Yeah.
I'm going to save and then buy it cash
Within 10 years?
within
Yeah.
10 years. I got a restriction on it. So the contract's just been signed.
Wow.
Does it need a renovation, or what sort of state it's in?
Not really. It's currently a hotel.
It's actually an
It's actually
operating.
Yeah, it is.
hotel,
But
yeah.
here's what happened, right? So the owner is Chinese, and the current person that rents it, who's doing a rent to rent on it, because that's how most hotels run.
Yeah.
So the person that is the manager is paying 100 grand a year. But the owner's getting miffed with the manager because although they're paying 100 grand a year, it's not in bad condition, but there's a little bit of a leak and there's this.
Yeah.
And the manager's saying, oh, I can't afford to fix it.
Right.
So I've come along and said, let me take over management. I'll pay 100 grand a year, but I want to pay £1 option and I want the option to buy it within the next 10 years for 2 mil.
Exclusivity on that.
Correct.
Wow.
So that's the kind of thing. I did the same thing on a factory recently in Wolverhampton where I paid 25 grand. I got the option to buy. That's how I do most of my deals. I get an option to buy. Then I can just relax. So I got the option to buy a factory, paid 25 grand. Then got planning permission for 48 apartments.
Wow.
The gross development value now is 6.7 million. Then bought for $1 million.
Right.
Now the conversion's going on.
So just and forgive me, you know, I'm somebody that doesn't, you know, I don't operate in these areas. So why would somebody give you an option? Like, why would they not just sell it themselves, or
Condition,
like,
yeah.
why would they give you an option on something?
Many different reasons. I mean, my very first house that I did this on because I do options on big deals, but I used to do them on small deals.
Yeah.
Was a house that was in negative equity.
Okay.
So the guy who owned the house, he had a mortgage of 81 grand. He wanted to sell it for 81 grand. So if I buy it for 81 grand, then and I buy it cash, he'll have nothing because all of that money is going to be used to pay off the mortgage.
Yeah.
So there's no equity in it, and he can't sell it for 81 because it's been on the market for 6 months. So I say, look, you ain't selling it. There could be squatters. The house is falling to rack and ruin, right? If I give you 81 grand cash right now, you're going to use all that money and just pay off the mortgage. You're going to be left with no house, no money. How about this? How about I'll give you a grand up front. I'll give you 81 grand for it in 7 years, but then I'll give you £250 a month. I'll take the house off your hands. You've got a sale at the end. So if you say that to the right person, it's attractive.
Yeah.
And then I rent it out, make a nice bit of cash flow. The house goes up in value. I got the option to buy it for 81 grand anytime I want in the next 7 years.
Very clever. Very clever.
That's how I do most of it. I do it on land. I'll give you another example. Piece of land in Buckinghamshire in 2020, a few years ago, and I contacted the landowner because I just contact people.
Yeah. But again, that's your work rate. Your work rate's high. Yeah, but his work rate's high. This is what my point was earlier, because I know for a fact, you know, you speak to Sam and, you know, you get high energy. You know, I'm here, I'm listening to you. Yeah, people might think I'm a bit quiet, but I'm
gets your
engrossed.
brain
I know I'm
ticking, doesn't
engrossed
it?
in what he's saying.
Yeah, I love
it's
it.
great.
It's great, yeah.
And like, but I can tell. I don't even need to spend a day with you. I can tell your work rate is fucking high.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I can say is that you'll get someone who might make 5 calls, and versus those 5 calls, you'll have made 50. or at least.
And my
follow-ups
energy's better on the phone.
And
And
it's
the person with the
yeah.
best energy wins.
Oh
It's
yeah,
an energy game, isn't it?
that's a good subject. I think we need to elaborate a little bit on.
Can I just talk about the deal? I was
sorry,
about
yeah,
to talk
sorry,
about
the
that?
land, the
'Cause
land.
The land is good.
Sorry, go.
So, and then we talk about energy. So this piece of land near my house, I'm thinking, nice. I wrote to the owner and I said to the owner, would you be interested in selling the land? He contacts me and says, I've owned it all my life. It was inherited to me. What do you want to do? And I said to him, what do you want for the land? And he was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how much it's worth. I said, well, right now it's got no planning. It's like an expensive piece of carpet, my friend.
Of course.
Yeah.
it
So I'll give you
is,
50. I'll give you 50 grand. He's like, oh, 50 grand? No, I want more than that. I said, well, how much do you want? He said, 110. I said, all right. I tell you what, I'll give you 10 grand now, and I'll give you the other 100 in 12 months' time, subject to planning. He goes, I said, if I don't get planning, you keep the 10 grand. If I don't buy it, you keep the 10 grand. He's like, oh, maybe I'll get planning myself. Go for it. Knock yourself out, brother. Why haven't you done it for the last 47 years, though? Oh, I haven't really got the contacts. I haven't really got the...
So the agreement you get done
Yeah.
stops them from going elsewhere once you do get planning.
They can't.
is that
It's a
right?
contract in
Yeah,
place.
It's not even a contract. It's stronger than that. On the title deeds, I have a restriction.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
if they try to sell it
This is
behind my
what I was trying to
back,
get my head
they
around.
can't
Yeah.
because there's a restriction.
Right.
Right,
understand,
right.
yeah.
Right, so I got the option to buy it for 110. Then I got planning, pushed the value up to 275.
Okay.
I've got like 100,000 pounds profit.
Yeah.
And also I've not just got an option on it, I've got an assignable option. So what I then did was I sold it onto a self builder
Yeah.
Wow.
for about 260.
Holy shit.
And I pocket the difference.
And you haven't even exchanged any cash, really.
Exactly, man. I made like 110,000 pounds doing that when I first moved to
And all you put was
Buckinghamshire.
10k down as an outlay.
Through lockdown, I made 1.6 million doing that alone.
Wow.
That's called laughing all the way to the bank because I didn't even lift a shovel.
Yeah.
A shovel.
Didn't even lift a shovel.
That's class. I think, look, for anyone who's listening to this, I think, this is absolute genius. And I think it's someone that knows their industry extremely well. And I think for anyone that wants to get into this, you've got to listen to this and you've got to implement it. And I think, he's definitely the man to do it. So one thing you touched on was your energy. When you come into contact with people, it's always super, super high energy and you don't mess around. And I think that's infectious. How important is that, with everything you do in your business, in your family life, in your personal life, whatever it is, your energy levels, are they always like this? Do you have days where they're not like this?
Big energy equals big bank. Little energy is little bank.
Yeah.
So
Totally agree.
yeah, big energy, man. Yeah, always. I'm the same all the time.
Have you always been like this?
Yes.
Where's it come from? Why are you like this? Like,
Lots of
for
coffee
some,
or-
what would you say? No, a better question is, what would you say to someone who doesn't have that energy? What would you say to someone who maybe struggles with getting up in the morning, wants to do better, but hasn't got the go, hasn't got the drive, is looking for that bit of inspiration? What advice would you give someone like that who hasn't been gifted the Samuel Leeds energy?
I wouldn't say the Samuel Leeds energy, but if someone can't get out of bed in the morning, I wouldn't really be able to relate to them.
What if they were like, by the way, I'm playing devil's advocate, but I'm
Yeah.
just, because, there's people
There's
going
people
through
here that are
different
going
things.
for different
and
time.
yeah,
They've
yeah.
gone, right, I'm going to go see you. And you can see
But
they're
they're
sat
depressed
there,
or they're
like,
down and they've
the-
saved up that like 5 grand or 10 grand or 12 grand or whatever it is, and that's, let's
This is
just
what I say to people, right?
Yeah.
If people come to me and they're really hungry and passionate and they're like, I'm courageous and I'm hungry and I've got energy, but I've got no money, I'll say, that's okay. We'll work with you. If someone comes to me and says, yeah, I've got 100 grand in the bank, and they've got no energy, no passion, no drive, I won't work with them.
Understood. Yeah.
For me, it's you've got to want it. Otherwise, what's
So
the
what do you
point?
think drives someone's energy? Because my answer to that, my own question, is a really big fucking reason why.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, right.
what would you say is your reason why?
Well, I personally, my mission is I want to help more people become financially independent than any human has ever done before on the globe in history.
You're up against Tony Robbins, aren't you?
Oh no, he's awesome.
He is
Gee.
awesome.
Yeah, I
Big
mean,
T.
yeah, I want to leave a legacy.
A legacy, yeah.
And for me, that's kind of what drives me. Interestingly, if your goal is only money, you'll get to the point where, because I don't think you need a lot of money to live a really good life.
Yeah, we had a discussion the other day, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't cost that much to
No.
live. Like you drive a Lamborghini, I live in a beautiful multi-million-pound house. Although I own my house that I live in, if you wanted to, you could rent that house, and you could rent it for about $7,000. You could probably rent your Lambo for what, 1,500 quid. So that you got a big mansion and a Lambo for what, less than 10 grand a month.
I know.
And then and then after the house and the car, what? How many times can you go to a fancy restaurant in a month? Like 20 grand a month, you live an absolute celebrity life. And 20 grand a month is nothing. No, I made about 650 grand profit in my property business last month. 20 grand is a drop in the bucket. So if it's money that's driving you, when you get to the point whereby you're making a lot of money, actually I think you could get depressed, because it's like, well, what now? It's like an astronaut that gets back from space. What now? Right? So you've got to have, you're right about goal, you've got to have something that you can't be happy unless you're moving towards something. People think I'll be happy when I'm financially free, I can lie on the beach and not worry about anything. No, then you'll be depressed.
Yeah, you will. Yeah.
Happiness is when you are progressing and when you are moving towards something. So I think, where does my energy come from? I've always got a goal and I'm always pushing for something.
You wake up going, I haven't got my goal yet.
I've always got a goal. I've always got many goals.
Do you think it's important to have a goal that's basically, is it better to try and climb Mount Everest than it is to try and climb the hill at the local park?
I think when you're climbing mountains, because I've climbed a lot of mountains. I remember when I climbed up Mount Kilimanjaro, and you keep seeing what you think is the top, and then you get there and you go, oh man, it's not the top. It's the same in business and in life. You set a goal that you can see. There's no point saying, I want to be a billionaire. Set something that you can realistically see and you can get to, climb to it, and then as soon as you get to the top, celebrate quickly and then move on.
And go to the
like
next
footballers,
one.
celebrate quickly, then move on. Then next goal. Get towards it. And also your goal should not just be about yourself, it should be about others. I've literally, just a couple months ago, I built a school in Uganda. I'm fighting with the government and trying to bring in financial literacy across the curriculums.
Amazing.
Just built a hospital, we're just got planning permission to build a hospital ward. I spent, in 2018, I spent 10 days in hospital in Uganda. And as a result of that, I've seen certain needs out there. So my charity, my mission, my legacy, my business, it's got to be bigger than you. If it's just, I want to get this much money, or I want to get this car, then you'll get in the car and you'll think, actually.
I agree.
I mean, come on, let's be real. I mean, you have a Lamborghini, fair enough. But, like, oh man, cars. I'm just not a car guy. I just don't understand how a car can make someone so happy, because when you're in it, you can't even see the outside. You know, I might look at your car, Tyron, and be like, oh wow, look at that Lamborghini, it looks amazing. When you're in it, actually, does it even feel that good? I hired a Lamborghini in Beverly Hills. I was driving around Beverly Hills in a Lamborghini. Man, every time I hit a speed bump, I was like, oh, where's my Range Rover, man? I went to the cinema with my wife. We went on a date. I got to the car park. I'm in my Lambo. I couldn't even reach the ticket, bro. I had to get out the car to press the ticket. I'm like, forget this, man. Forget Lambos.
You got to get the passenger to get out and get
it. Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, is that what it is? Oh,
so,
man.
I mean, I can answer that one. I mean, listen.
He's wounded now. He feels attacked now. You're coming after me. I'm coming after you right now.
I think you're exactly right. I think your goal has got to be bigger than a car. It's got to be bigger than just financials. But I also think it's very, very healthy to attach goals to, let's just say some of those early goals are to be able to get yourself a nice car, or to buy what you want, or to buy a property, or whatever it might be, because it gives you that first summit that you're talking about on that mountain. It's your first measurable. If you just go, like you said, I want to be a billionaire, that's effectively like saying, I'm going to go straight to the top of Mount Everest, as opposed to getting to base camp. And that's the reality. So just to finish on, Sam, and by the way, I love what you're saying, and I just think it's such good advice for people, because you need high energy, you need to have a serious goal, and you also need to have a reason that's bigger than just yourself, basically.
Have to. And spend your, do you know what I spend my money on? I spend my money on comfort. That's what I spend my money on. I spend money on experiences.
Experiences.
And comfort.
That is actually where the luxuries lie, isn't it?
It is.
Like, you fly business once, you're never going back. It's that kind of thing. Flights are a big one. I think flights are a big one.
Expensive.
Yeah, and they are. Oh my
Super
God, are they?
expensive.
Oh my God. I think I booked a holiday for me and the girlfriend in Dubai, and this was in like Jumeirah Beach Hotel, new 5-star hotel, cracking hotel. Like, probably arguably the best hotel I've been in, or one of them. And that was for like 11, 12 days. It's a long time. and my flights were the same price as the holiday.
Mate, yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. It was like literally $7
For the
grand
for the 8
flights,
hours.
See,
seven grand flights and
you'll
8
spend
grand.
money on cars, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I got a nice car. I just bought a new car. Actually, I bought two. I just bought 2 Range Rovers last month.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
But the thing is, if I'm traveling, you always find me at the best hotels.
Yeah.
I want the best customer service.
Yeah,
the
I love
best
that.
time.
The best
Totally
people
agree.
in there.
Totally agree. You mix with the right people.
That's
The
it,
customer
yeah.
service is banging. So,
Usually, next time you go to Dubai, you should stay at the Burj Al Arab.
yeah, do you know what it is?
Dude,
though?
just do it,
Is
man.
it good?
Mate.
Because I've heard mixed things on it. Because I was going to book it,
it's
and my
amazing.
friend said, "Don't bother." He said, "It's not. It's like a cliche. It's like."
No, it's not.
He goes, "People don't actually stay there."
Yeah, they do.
That's what he said. He goes, "You don't actually stay there."
Yeah.
Mate.
But you know,
Yeah.
I'm tempted.
Mate. It's the
I'm
best.
tempted. I'll have a
telling
look.
you.
You get like your own butler or something.
Mate,
don't
of
you?
course. I always have my butler when I go on holiday. Standard procedure, bro.
So look, just to finish on, you've obviously got the main property business,
Yeah.
but that's not the only string to your bow.
Yeah, it's
What other ventures are you involved with?
So I do invest in businesses.
Great.
I invested into a company called Deal Sourcer, which is actually like a fintech company, which is doing really well.
Is it good? Yeah.
Financially as well, we're making decent money on
Good,
that, which is
good.
crazy.
Good.
I invested in that reasonably heavily. I've
Brilliant.
also got I invested in you know the forum that used to troll me, Property Tribes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I now own 35% of that.
Job done.
That's
I'm a
Job done.
person of significant control. So I'm looking forward, and I am, because you know what? That I actually genuinely, even though they were trolling me, and it did piss me off. I can't lie.
Yeah.
That they were making money off the back of using my name.
Yeah.
But then I thought, if they're going to use my name and make money off the back of it, at least let me get paid too.
Yeah.
At least let me get paid too.
Yeah.
So I got
That's
that.
good.
Yeah. So I do invest in companies.
Awesome.
I've also got a bridging company as well.
Nice. Yeah. That aligns well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't spend these businesses. I don't spend loads of time on because I think if I'm not, I don't think you can listen. Some people do it, like Richard Branson and these guys that are just geniuses. I'm not quite there. Like I don't know how Richard Branson has all these different businesses. For me, I think having the training business, having my property and my developments. I'm not kind of like, I want to start new businesses all the time.
No,
Because I think also you can become so unfocused and your brand can get muddied
Yeah.
and stuff. So for me, I'll invest passively and I'll add what I can and I'll be a consultant to the businesses.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, and
Not fully
just
there.
even staff, like I've got about 46 members of staff and it's hard, bro.
Yeah, of course
You'll
it
know
is.
this. It's like
we're at
managing
We're
staff
at like
and
150.
right.
It's nuts. We're just launching in
how many
Dubai.
how many managers do you have?
8,
Right.
9.
That's the hard. Getting good managers is the hardest.
Yeah, I think, do you know what it is? I mean, also there's the balance that we have to kind of get right, is that they're not just managers. We've literally got people who we're literally saying you're being put in a position to build your own version of a corporation within the business of Tyron Real Estate.
Would you have staff as well as like you have franchisees, right?
Effectively,
Or licensees,
effectively,
right?
Yeah.
And so you have licensees, and then you've got staff that
We've
just
got
work
some
for you.
firm staff, yeah. So we've got like a team of PAs. We've just appointed a chief of operations.
Right. Interesting business model.
Because now what's happening is that as much as on the outer shell, it is all about expression. It's all about personal brand. It's all about real estate agents building their image and everything. Because of the sheer size that we're at and the listings and the revenue and all that sort of stuff, we've now had to corporatize the internal structures.
Yeah.
Because there's just no other way it works. Because you can't have, because our target is 1,000 agents across the UK in the next 2 years, and that means that if you could imagine 1,000 people running around doing what they want, it just doesn't work. So it's very, very exciting. We're launching in Dubai in March as well.
Oh, amazing.
So I'm super, we're super pumped
When
for
you
that.
go out there, I know where you're going to be staying next time. Bro.
Burj Al Arab. Yeah.
Like 25 grand a night.
I tell you what I'll do is I'll put a marker in my diary that once we've hit a certain revenue that I'll be acceptable, I'll treat myself to maybe 5 days there.
Yeah, I'd start with 3.
3, yeah.
Because then if you don't like it, you'll be blaming me. I paid for 5 days. It was
Get
crap.
invoice.
You owe me 50 grand.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, absolute class.
That's
I've got to
brilliant.
say, I think probably we've had some amazing guests on, but I think I've probably learnt the most
I agree.
Oh, good.
today.
I was sat there, my brain was going.
Yeah,
overjoyed.
and honestly, Sam, I said it from the first time I met you, but I think you're a fucking dynasty in your field, and I think people should really take a lot. Will take a lot from this. I know I did, and like I said, get in touch with him if that's something that you want to learn more about. You know, I couldn't recommend him enough, and to be honest, I think he'll also give you a lot of guidance, both from an individual perspective and also a property business one as well. So thanks for joining us.
Appreciate
Sam.
it.
Energy, then sweet.
Yeah,
Respect, man. Thank you,
Lovely,
guys.
nice
Keep up the good work.
awesome. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
I need to